Planet X TV.
What's happening, Planet X? I'm Gavin Fleming. I want to introduce you to my son, Landon West Fleming. We're chilling here at the Inn at Sunset Cliffs today with our season opener here on Planet X. It's awesome to welcome back my counterpart, Heather Dawn. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Bing, thanks for coming on the episode. We really appreciate it. Here in Ocean Beach.
Hi there, Heather from Planet X, and we're here at the Inn at Sunset Cliffs in San Diego, California. Next to me, we have surfing legend, surfing shaper, and all-around awesome guy. It's Bing Copeland. Hi, Bing.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Now, we've known each other a long time, and for those who are not privileged enough to know so much about you, you grew up in Manhattan Beach, California. Started surfing there. That's where you got your love of the ocean. And just what happened next?
Well, it was 1949 when I was 13 years old, and it was actually just after the Second World War. And during the war, our beach was actually closed off with barbed wire, so we couldn't go to the beach. But after the war, when I turned 13, I started surfing at the Manhattan Pier with Greg Knoll. We met on the pier, actually watching the older guys surf, and Dale Velzy loaned us our first board, gave us the first board we ever rode, and it was about an 80-pound, 8-foot redwood balsa board, and it was hard to ride, hard to carry. It weighed about as much. We weighed about as much as the board did. But I grew up there, and you know, we started surfing. I started surfing with all the older guys at the Manhattan Pier. Greg and I were the two youngest guys, and they would take us around. We surfed, Wind and Sea and San Onofre and Trestles and Malibu and Rincon and all over Southern California. So it was a pretty good way to grow up, and it wasn't crowded in those days.
Well, that's because you hadn't become internationally known and made everybody want to be just like you. That's why.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, after a while, we'll talk about in a minute, fabulous things that happened in his life, but you eventually moved to Idaho. You're back with us today here in California because something really special is going on. You're going to the, I'm going to say it right, International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame.
Correct.
Woo! Okay, and this year you have been previously honored, I believe it was 2003.
2003, correct.
Dale Velzy was honored in 2001.
Right.
But this year it's special because your good friend Rick Stoner is going to be honored.
Yes.
And you and he had some fabulous adventures. Of course, Rick Stoner, he was a shaper himself. He was a surfer. He was in the Coast Guard. And that's how you guys became really good friends in the Coast Guard,
well,
right?
I'll tell you about that. After Rick was 1 year younger than I was, and after we graduated from high school, we spent a year lifeguarding on the beach in Manhattan and Hermosa Beach in the South Bay. And then that fall, with 4 other guys, there were 6 of us all together, we went to Hawaii. And we were like 18, 19 years old. And we spent a couple of months there surfing the Makaha area. And then we were running out of money, and some of the other guys were heading back to California, and Rick and I had already been through basic training in the Coast Guard, so we just joined the Coast Guard, and we got to stay in Hawaii for the next 2 years. And so we surfed all over the North Shore and had a wonderful time for 2 years in Hawaii. While we were doing that, I'll go into this. We met a couple that had a sailboat in the yacht harbor, and where we used to surf in front of all the time. And we started sailing as crew members in races around Hawaii, around Honolulu. And when we got out of the Coast Guard, they asked us if we wanted to sail around the world. So we said, why not?
Stay tuned for more action from Planet X right after this.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
All right, Bing. So we were on the boat. Or was it a yacht? It's a
Yacht.
sailboat?
It's a sailboat. Yeah.
Okay, it's a sailboat. It's Rick Stoner and yourself. You have just left active duty in the Coast Guard.
Correct.
To go on a trip around the world.
Right.
You've been to Tahiti, you've been to Samoa,
Fiji.
and now you're on your way to New Zealand. And what happens in New Zealand?
Well, it was 1958 Thanksgiving Day. We landed in New Zealand, and on the dock we ran into some young Kiwis that we asked if there was any surf around. They said, yeah, on the other side of the island, and you want to go, we'll take you. So we said, sure. So we loaded our boards on their car, and they drove us over the island to the Tasman side, a place called Piha. And as we were driving down the hill, we saw some waves coming in that looked like San Onofre. You know, it just looked great. And so we pulled up to the surf club, and we introduced ourselves to the surf club members, which were all the young surf guys, and told them we wanted to try our surfboards in their waves. And at those days, they just rode surf skis, big 14-foot long with foot straps and double-bladed paddle, and they would go straight off. And we said, we want to try our surfboards in your waves. And they go, oh, our waves are very, very dangerous. They said, but we'll send a couple boys out to make sure you're okay. We said, well, okay, whatever. So we paddled out, and we got out through the waves, and they never made it out. So we caught a few waves. We caught probably 8 or 10 waves, and just did some turns and kind of some go-behinds and just played around because it was fun. And when we came in, the guys, the Kiwis were neck deep in the water going, give me a go, mate. You know, they all wanted to try our boards. So our boards, our two Velzy balsa boards, never left the water for the next 3 or 4 days during the daylight hours. There's always somebody riding them. So we said, hey, you know, we grew up around Velzy's shop. We know a little bit about building surfboards. So we found some materials, and we built about 7 or 8 boards on the beach out of styrofoam and epoxy. And to shape the styrofoam, we didn't have any real tools, so we used a cheese grater. And it worked out great. And you know, both Rick and I were going, we can do this. So, and that's what led us to, when we got back to California, to building some boards in my mother's garage. And we went back to lifeguarding, building some boards in my mother's garage. We finally got kicked out of the garage for making too much dust and noise and smell. So we opened a little shop on the Strand in Hermosa, and that's where it all started. We started building boards for the lifeguards and the Haggerty Surf Club members, and one thing led to another, and Rick then decided he was getting married, and so he decided he was going to have a career in the lifeguards. So I bought him out for, I don't know, a couple $100 or whatever it was, and changed it to Bing Surfboards, from Bing and Rick to Bing Surfboards. And then he went back to being a lifeguard for about another 3 or 4 years, and then he opened his own shop. And so we were friendly competitors, just like I'm friendly competitors with Greg Knoll and Jacobs and Dewey and everybody. So it was fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you were really successful. I mean, just amazing, beautiful surfboards. And at one point, your shop was building, shaping, producing like 40 surfboards a day.
Yeah, I had 2 shapers that could each do 20 in a day. It was Mike Eaton and Dan Bendixson, and then we had a couple, Steve Slickemeyer, and a couple of other shapers that would shape a few. So we were making, during the heat of the season, we were doing 40 boards a day. And I shaped on special occasion when somebody would request me, but I was so busy just keeping all the tools running and the materials coming to keep building that many boards. I mean, it's not an easy thing.
Well, somebody's got to be the captain of the ship.
Well, yeah, whatever. But it was a good era. It was fun. You know, the East Coast was going crazy. They all wanted our surfboards, and anybody on the West Coast that could build a surfboard was in business. I mean, it was good.
We will be back more with Heather and Bing right after this.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
I mean, you were in the business for a long time. You had amazing team riders. If you guys, you should be following the Bing surfboards on Instagram, because every once in a while, like Throwback Thursday, Flashback Friday, they post some incredible ads. Your print ads were so creative and so fabulous. Bing appears in a few of them, and wow. I think there's one, you have a very dapper side-swiped hair with the sideburns, and you're in your sleeveless wetsuit, and you're posing with one of your fabulous, I think like an orange board. It's good. It's pretty good.
That was
Bing.
a Hang 10 ad, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was fabulous. I love it.
We did a lot of Hang 10 ads. Duke Boyd, who did Hang 10, started Hang 10, was a good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine. And he also got involved in helping me with my advertising, so because he was good at that, and I was so busy building surfboards that every time the salesman from Surfer Magazine would come around saying, "What are you going to do for an ad this month, Bing?" I go, "I don't know. I haven't a clue." So I get together with Duke and we come up with something, and we did come up with some pretty good ads. And
Yeah, they're awesome. And there's one, they posted, and it's a girl, single tier, and she's upset because since her boyfriend got the Bing surfboard, he hasn't picked up the phone to call her once.
Yeah. She says he hasn't called me once since he got his new Bing board, and she had a tear running down her cheek. It was fine back in the 60s, and nobody complained about it at all. But nowadays, people are calling us sexist and all this and that. So we did another one.
That's right. You flipped it.
We did it. We flipped it. We got a young guy with a tear running down his cheek, and he's saying she hasn't returned a single text since she got her new Bing. That's one thing that I have to mention is so many girls surfing now. It's really great. I mean, out of our shop in Encinitas, a third of the boards that we sell out of there are for girls now. I mean, it's wonderful.
It's awesome. And as you mentioned, your flagship store is in Encinitas. It's fabulous. It's in bright Bing blue. You can't miss it when you're driving by. And it's been open for how many years now?
A couple, 2-3 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, if you go in there, it's just beautiful. It's beautifully laid out.
It's not a surf
all
shop.
Surfboards,
It's
yeah.
not a surf shop with all the clothing and stuff. It's surfboards.
Yeah,
So,
it's very pure.
just like the old days.
Yeah. When you were beginning your business in surfing and shaping the boards, what are some things that you see nowadays in the industry as the craft of shaping that's exciting or different to you?
Well, I don't know. I really wouldn't know about that because my shaping was in the past. And I will say that Matt Calvani, who's shaping my boards now, he's basically building the boards the same way we built them. I mean, granted that they're refining them, they're getting the shapes down better, the quality is better, the boards are a lot shinier, and but I don't know. There's other types of construction boards. There's some molded boards and this and that, but our boards, the Bing boards, are all still built the same way we built them back in the 60s. They're just better.
Heather has some more wild stories from Bing right after this.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
So awesome. So, here, like we said at the beginning, you're in town for a very special reason. You're going to the International Surf I'm gonna say it wrong again, but I'm gonna try.
I'll tell you.
Okay, you tell me.
We're going
He's
to the
gonna be speaking there, so he knows.
International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame.
That's right. And they're honoring Rick Stoner.
Rick Stoner, who was my partner back in 1959, 58, 59. So I get to say a little bit about him tomorrow at that event, and I'm glad that he's finally in there. Velzy was, like you said, Velzy was inducted in 2001. I was inducted in 2003, and I'm going to do everything I can to get Matt Calvani inducted, but he's a little young yet.
Well, and it's a wonderful event. It's up in Doheny Beach, right?
Right, and it's in conjunction with the Longboard Collectors Club. They have kind of like I would guess you would call it a swap, but it's really not. Everybody brings all their old vintage boards, and they do sell. They trade around amongst each other, and anybody with memorabilia has it for sale. And it's really a fun day right at Doheny to walk around and see all this history. It's pretty cool, basically, and it's worth seeing because you'll see an awful lot of I guess you call them legends there. And people that are important to the industry, and you see a lot of classic vintage surfboards. Well worth a trip down, anybody that's close.
It's incredible. Now, for those of you that haven't been able to meet Bing in person, as you can tell, it's so much fun. It's amazing. I mean, he knows so much, and what's wonderful, what I love about these events, is people bring the vintage boards. And if you bring a vintage Bing, you're so incredible. You have the ability to look at a certain board and you look at, well, what's the number called? What is it called?
Okay, the serial number.
Serial number. And he'll be like, oh, I remember exactly that one.
No, I don't remember, but
I believe that day I had oatmeal for breakfast. I mean, you know so much.
No,
it's incredible.
No, really. Actually, what I have is I have all my original order books. And so if I get the serial number off a board, I can go to my order books and find out who we built the board for or what shop we built the board for and the exact date it was ordered. And I put that, in my computer. I scan the order out of the order book, and we have what we call a birth certificate that we send to somebody that has one of our old boards. So it's a pretty good thing. I don't think there's any other manufacturer from the 60s that has their records. I think I'm the only one.
You got to follow Bing. You got to come to the surf shop in Encinitas.
There you go.
And you just got to be a fan of Bing because he's just incredible. You guys, thank you for being here. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more when we come back. See you then.
Planet X TV. Planet X TV.
We're at the One Wave Challenge at La Jolla Shores. We're going to try to break the world record for the number of surfers on a one wave standing up at the same time.
So it's really to support Boys to Men, which is a local charity mentoring program that helps at-risk youth boys, typically middle school, mentors them, meets with them at school, holds them accountable. And then with the Century Club, who's the group that puts on the Farmers Insurance Open every year, combine forces to create this One Wave Challenge where we're going to go out and try to break the world record, which is 110 people surfing one wave at one time. You got to be up at least 5 seconds. That's what we're going to do. We're doing it for a good cause, and we're kicking off Golf Week in San Diego style.
This is lead singer, by the way, of Sandollar. They're playing right after it.
So what we're trying to do here is we are trying to break the world record for most people on one wave. Unlike the 100 wave challenge for Boys to Men, this is the one wave challenge where we're all going to break the Guinness Book of World Record and bring it back to San Diego from South Africa.
My brother, come on, One Wave Challenge, let's do this.
Up and away we go. Up on the radio. Up and I'm feeling high. Up when I'm flying by. Up with the world below. Come on, I can take it if you want to go. Up and we closing in. Up, so now let's begin.
I'm bumping away with a blunt and a tray, detonate the red button and spray a day in the life of Jesus, of Bob Marley, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Gandhi. Vision vast past the hillside and killing a tribe. A meal to the Bible, remarkable articles in the soul's particles. So let the truth fall around the globe in the optimal. Back to the spot and over there's an optical illusion, illuminating the hourglass. Spinning in the wind and the storm, a print in my arm, defending the listening's charm. Women in palm, inventive and calm. The limit is gone back to the galactic, mathematic, radical scale. Unravel the veil and a battered boat was still sailing 100 for seas without hope, fragile and frail. Catch a ride on an ancient whale and say by the tail till we drift on the shore like a sail and search for the trail, yeah.
Surf report today down this way is 5 to 7, probably some 8 10-foot sets faces for sure. Here it's going to be perfect. We got white water that's going to start literally from Greenwall in that area down here to La Jolla Shores. We'll have about 200 yards of solid white water that we can then just use to get up our 135, 40 surfers that we have today. And we need 111 at one point for 5 seconds. So we're going to give it our best shot.
Up, up, and away we go. Up, up on the radio. Up, up, and I'm feeling high. Up, up when I'm flying by. Up, up with the world below. Come on, I can take you if you want to go. Up, up, and we closing in. Up, up, so now let's begin.
Catch me if you can through this miraculous maze, cause there's something mystical burning and I'm caught in a blaze. She puts her love on me when I'm least expecting a touch, and she knows where to find me when I'm hiding from such evil forces. Riding on these metal horses, trying to pull the doors closed on us and only feed us portions. Then we poison by the lies and the contortionists behind the curtain is burning for certain, with the serpent searching for the merchant that's down to sell his soul for the circus. Ringmaster's position, yo, I ain't bullshitting, I'm full spitting these righteous rhythms and sticks in the earth from fall. So observe the heart, cause you gotta try to reject to get this globe, try to reflect, be the architect to move your arm and your neck, your heart and your chest.
We've got a world record, and we're in the process of setting the Guinness Book of World Records for most surfers on a wave. We're here at La Jolla Shores in beautiful San Diego, and it's part of the Century Club's kickoff to Golf Week here in San Diego. The Farmers Insurance Open is taking place this week at beautiful Torrey Pines, just a stone's throw away here. And we're trying to raise money for the Boys to Men mentoring program through the PGA Tour and the Century Club, and this is how we're doing it. We're going to set a world record for the Guinness Book and raise money, again, all for a great cause, and as part of the PGA Tour's giving back.
91X on Planet X.
Up, up, and away we go. Up, up on the radio. Up, up, and I'm feeling high. Up, up when I'm flying by. Up, up with the world below. Come on, I can take you if you want to go. Up, up, and we closing in. Up, up, and do it all again. Up, up, and away we go. Up, up on the radio. Up, up, and I'm feeling high. Up, up when I'm flying by. Up, up with the world below. Come on, I can take you if you want to go. Up, up, and we closing in. Up, up, and we do it all again. And we do it all again.
I want to say it's Big Wednesday, but it's actually Big Saturday.
Everybody back into the beach, we're going to reset it. Everybody back into the beach, please. We're going to reset.
That one was pretty good, huh? How about that? Almost there, Rob.